All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you with the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network. Talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring, all the backstage curtain calls, all the drama, all the juicy rumors. We talk about superstars and their inactive statuses, injury updates, contract negotiations, extensions, and signings. We talk about promotions from WWE to the CMLL to the NWA, to the GCW. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show. Definitely can count on us 1,010%. Kind of reflect what we talked about right quick. We had our Monday Night Raw review. We had our NXT talk. We also talked about the Mr. McMahon docu-series on Netflix, and now we're going to talk about Vince McMahon potentially starting a new wrestling promotion. But first, I got a chat from my man, Anthony Mazzano. Did you see the interview that Austin and Goldberg did recently where Goldberg revealed that there was points before he signed with WCW that WWF actually offered him a contract? I thought I saw something on there, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, that's kind of crazy, because I feel like Goldberg in recent days, he's not a good wrestler. He's not a good wrestler. Goldberg's 1,010%. He's super cool. I could confidently say on air that I'm a wrestling fan, and I thought Goldberg was cool. Can I confidently say Goldberg was, a clean, a tactician inside the ring, that he was, that he was good? He was a good wrestler? No, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. I definitely think if maybe put in the right hands, like maybe if he would have, trained under the, WWF, personnel, maybe his career would have ended up a little differently. And I feel like it is a little ironic because Goldberg, gave that boot to Bret Hart, claimed that he told Bret to watch out for the boot. Bret hit it at full force, causing him to be concussed. After that, never really can get inside the ring again. Always felt, loopy, and, he was concussed with brain damage, bad brain damage. And if obviously if you push the belt too much, possibly it could wind up you losing your career, losing your personal life. Like, I remember watching Muhammad Ali. I remember watching Muhammad Ali in a couple of interviews, obviously after he retired and everything like that, and he just looked like he it like brain damage. Like, it just looked like he was, I don't know. It just looked like he was kind of gone. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, he's still there. He's not obviously in a vegetative state or anything like that. But it's it's kind of crazy. In that interview, he actually admitted himself that he got pushed way too soon. He did. He really, really did. But, WCW, Eric Bischoff, you had these guys wrestling smash matches. The fans were into him 1,010%. But it was because people in WCW wanted to compete with Stone Cold and Steve Austin. Yeah, I saw that too. That's crazy. And, he admitted he wasn't ready for television. And, once again, not Goldberg's fault. Just because, he looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He might talk like him. He talks trash. Obviously no one could ever be Stone Cold Steve Austin. So it's kind of silly that WCW would be like, oh, let's try to have this, bootleg. But of course, there were speculations that WWF did it with the Generation X, kind of copying the NWO. And, I could see some sort of comparisons as well. But I feel like DX was a little bit more, a little bit more wonky, a little bit more in-your-face adult humor, while the NWO just ran rapid all over Nitro and Thursday Night Thunder and just did whatever the hell they wanted. And no, I don't think Thunder was no, I think it was, no, I don't know. But it was, I remember watching that interview as well, and it's, it's very interesting. It's very interesting because I feel like Goldberg, still to this day, he's kind of getting a lot of spit for it. Like, he's kind of being the reason why people were like, oh, WCW failed because the talent, there was no good, not trained wrestlers going out there and representing the brand, hurting actual superstars like somebody like, I think it was the Disco Inferno who got injured, or Buff Bagwell or Mike Awesome, who actually would, they got injured. They got freaked up inside the ring, man. It was so real. It was so surreal that at the time, if you were, in Eric Bischoff's shoes, the best thing probably to do it was just deny, and be like, all right, Bill Goldberg, just keep going out there in wrestling matches. We can't really show our hands here. We can't really be like, all right, we can't be like, oh, Goldberg's going to disappear off TV for a little while because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing inside the squared circle. that's something that you literally can't open to like admitting. And the fans were into Goldberg. That's plain and simple right there. This guy, he was big, he was bad, trash talking. He was like this monster behemoth, physical wrestler. That if I'm not going to, you saw the jackhammer, you saw the military presses. It's Goldberg was definitely one of my favorite wrestlers in WCW. Like I said, not because of the whole fact that he was, a better inside the ring wrestler. Now, him coming to WWE, kind of being in a lot of squash matches where he defeated Kevin Owens for the WWE Universal Championship, where he defeated the Fiend as well when the Fiend was, absolutely portrayed as this unstoppable force. He was getting pushed. And, beating Nick Nemeth also, Dolph Ziggler, I didn't like that as well. Goldberg should have been like a legend in wrestling. Like when you saw Kurt Angle come back, or when you saw John Cena, take a couple of falls. Like, you just got not a jobber, but you just, you got to start promoting the younger talent inside WWE. And that's something that I feel like ultimately kind of crippled Kevin Owens' his push in his career, where you saw him drop the title to Goldberg. But obviously, there's a lot of, obviously, my opinion, 1,010%. Thank you guys for chatting as always. So, talking about the main subject matter here in this segment, Vince McMahon starting a new wrestling promotion. It's possible. The guy he has shown that he does not want to get out of the wrestling business. Till the day he dies, will be on the screen, will be, behind the camera, kind of running and delegating things and stuff like that. I personally think he probably could find a wrestling promotion that could ultimately, because there's a lot of wrestlers out there. There's a lot of wrestlers trying to get into this cutthroat industry. You know, Vince McMahon, without no ties to WWE, without no ties, you know, I personally think it would be impossible, but that's just my opinion. I think that's just, he will never come back to WWE. And if you're TKO Holdings or, UFC or whatever, you can't chance it. You can't chance this guy who has a bad reputation. Obviously, the hush money scandals. Obviously, everything with the sexual assault and sex trafficking allegations of Janel Grant. You can't trust things like that. Like you recently saw the NWA come off the CW network because it was told and reported that they were let go by the CW, and now they run their episodes on their X account, Twitter, whatever you like to call it, because they did a spot where you had one of the wrestlers go out in the crowd and do a line of cocaine with one of the fans, and it's just, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that, dude? So I doubt Vince McMahon ever comes back to WWE. Maybe he finds a spot, working perhaps, with TNA. Right now TNA, Scott D'Amore, like, if they ever found out that Vince McMahon was going to be running the seeds behind TNA, that would be incredibly dumb. I feel like that'd be terrible. TNA right now, you don't need a Vince McMahon kind of aspect of it. Like, look exactly what happened with Vince McMahon once when he was in control of these NXT superstars that were being brought up. Because NXT was a developmental territory, it was ran by Triple H, and you had wrestlers like Aleister Black, Keith Lee. You've seen Lars Sullivan. You've seen a lot of these talented superstars that as soon as they made it up to the main roster, it was just like a joke. It was a joke. He never really necessarily cared to push any of these young superstars because he already kind of in the back of his mind knew that, okay, I want this guy to come out. I want this guy to look good. You know, and it just wasn't the right decision. And if you started a new wrestling promotion, you definitely starting fresh. You have the money to do it. In terms of the television screening time, right now, with this new age of digital social media and digital media, where you can run episodes on like your YouTube page, or you can run episodes like NXT, or no, not NXT, excuse me, like WWE Speed on their X account every Wednesday. You could have something maybe perhaps like that, but I'm not too sure if it'd get a lot of attention. And I'm not too sure, mostly based on the fact that, a lot of people, if you're not really keen on the sense of who Vince McMahon is, if you weren't really a fan of WWE growing up, if you're this new day and age fan and stuff like that, you're gonna look at Vince McMahon's new wrestling promotion and be like, all right, like, why should I watch this? That's something that a lot of, creative control, creative officers or, writers in terms of screenwriters in the wrestling war room, being like, what can I do to give this promotion to kind of stand out? And the thing that would make it stand out the most is Vince. Vince would have to be on camera. He'd have to be, on the screen. He'd have to and I feel like he can't do any of that without referencing all the credibility that he lost and his reputation in WWE. So for him starting in a wrestling promotion, and I know it's been the buzz of wrestling news media in the past, the past couple of months, because I think I've been reading a lot of conspiracy theories. I've been reading a lot of articles stating that Vince McMahon is, he's going to open up his new wrestling promotion. Even maybe going into business with like somebody like Jeff Jarrett, or one of these, um, independent bookers or something like that. Um, it's possible, yeah. Obviously, if you have all this money, if you just, if you could throw it, even getting ratings from like the low thousands and stuff like that. Obviously, you're kind of seeing TNA, kind of stay afloat, and maybe somewhere down the line, they find a way to kind of mesh with WWE, but not necessarily being a part of WWE. You know, I feel like Vince should retire, but that's just my opinion. You have all this money, spend it with your grandkids, dude. Have fun. Sit on your arse. Just watch TV, watch football. Buy a boat, dude. If you want to switch up something in your life, or you want your life to be more exciting, you know, um, maybe become a telemarketer. I'm just kidding. No, no, but I don't know. Just I don't know. I just don't see this happening. I don't see this happening. I would probably kind of stick a fork in it. It's done. Because, like I said, if Vince McMahon starts his new wrestling promotion, then the wrestling promotion is going to be featured mostly around Vince. And, the egomaniac that Vince McMahon is, you know, I, you know, that's why I'm thinking maybe it might be a possibility because of the way he is. But I don't know. I think it's no good. Obviously, you guys, let me know inside the chat how you guys would feel if you guys would watch a new wrestling promotion from Mr. McMahon. But as of right now, I just don't see it happening. That would be kind of crazy. All right, guys. So hey, do not go anywhere. We're gonna jump on into our fifth and final segment. Something we do every Tuesday. I take you guys into my DeLorean, gun it to 88 miles. And then we go back in time on this date of October 29th, back in time. So, fasten your seatbelt, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and get ready for a bumpy ride.